Thank you. This, I'm going to read from 50/50 because the story appeared both in Local Knowledge and also in 50/50, my book. And it's one of, the book is a series of stories from members of the same family. And this is one of the members of the family that I'm reading about. And he's identified as Ranjit Singh from Nairobi, Kenya, on the title page of the story. And I'll just read a little bit of it. And to read the rest of it, of course, you can read it in Local Knowledge, or you can read it in 50/50. There's more stories in 50/50. They're all in first person, but they're different people. He shows up in other people's stories, but this is his profile. I met her in London, in my cousin Sean's favorite black and tan. We're the only cousins the same age. Our mothers are sisters. We were always begging them to fly us to each other's house, him to visit me in Nairobi, me to spend school holidays with him in London. I was staring at her long black hair, blending with her straight black dress, like some kind of head-to-floor length veil. Club full of girls, Sean said, like a bloody harem. And you have to get obsessed with the one dancing with the big, fat, dangerous Arab. Even Sean looked older than 17. That's why our mothers were afraid of us. We're tall, almost 6 feet. If we grew our beards, only our eyes would show, our fair, straight noses. But I had never wanted to cover up my face with a beard, like my father, to wrap my hair up in a turban. I was only 10 when I scissored off the top knot my mother tied and covered with a swatch of cotton every day. When she saw me, strands all jagged in my face, she screamed, "You are not my son," sort of thing. Daddy was even worse. "You think you are such a man you can do what you want without regard for your family?" I had a black eye after that, my first. I tried to ride my moped out of the gate. Our guard knocked me off the bike, and my grandmother, Daddy's mother, pushed me into the car and called the driver. Our driver recommended the barber. 6, what did we know about shaves and haircuts? "This boy, he don't need a haircut," the barber said as he evened up the ends. "He need a doctor." My grandmother's doctor put an ice bag on my eye and said, "Ranjit Singh, you are a Sikh Sardar like me. You should not have done such a thing. Your father is an angry man. You know that. Even we know it. We are used to Kanwar's temper." He gave me candy and told me to go home, grow my hair, and beg my father's forgiveness. I did not. Mummy, black and blue herself by the time my grandmother got me home, muttered, "It will grow back." But I found scissors at school if I couldn't find a pair at home. My friend's houses, Sean's when I was in London. Sean's mum, my mum's sister, never tied Sean's hair. Even his father had not kept the turban since he had left Africa for college. But there was no escaping our ancestors. Every day at 4 o'clock, the stubble of a full sick beard invaded our Punjabi faces. So when the girl looked back, what did she see? 2 men. And Sean and I had always had to fight them off. At Nairobi parties, I took them in their rooms, while in the garden their fathers got drunk and their mothers stuffed their mouths. The Arab saw her looking at me and grabbed her arm. Dance steps turned into staggers. I was on him. He went down as easy as my father when he was as drunk. Sean tried to pull me off. "Ranjit, are you mad?" The girl stood staring, hands covering up her sharp cheekbones. I jumped up, grabbed her wrist, pulled her toward the door. The crowd stumbled all around us. The motorcycle I had bought that afternoon stood sparkling with drops of rain. The girl threw her leg over the seat. An ugly gash opened on her tight black skirt. My eyes fixed on her thigh, glowing like a beacon in the streetlight. "Go," she shouted, twisting to look back at me. "He will kill me." I straddled the bike, kicked it into action. Sean's bike started right behind us. I could feel the girl's bare arms around my waist, her belly bag driving into the small of my back. "I have all the necessary papers," she shouted. "Money. My sister lives in Paris. Take me." Gladly. I bought the motorcycle for a trip, Sean's last, before his family was sending him to California. We had visas for every country in Europe. I cut the motor. Sean tore halfway down his sleeping street, almost slid his bike out from under him, turning around. I laughed. Just go in and get our packs. Ranjit, the entire Muslim horde will be on us before we cross the channel. It is true, the girl said. He will murder us. He thinks it is his right. I lit a cigarette. Well, Sean, you had better hurry. Sean ran down the street past a row of houses. I got to know Zarina. That was her name. Tears rolled out of her blue-black eyes. She was shaking. I took off my jacket, slipped her cold marble arms into the sleeves. She was everything I could not find in Africa. Beautiful, exotic, older than the average, giggling Nairobi Indian, and helpless. I flicked a tear off her cheek, pulled her face closer to mine. She pushed my cheek with two cold fingers. Even I could feel the stubble. You remind me of one boy. What were you doing with him? I asked. They would not allow me to marry anyone but him. He drinks. He liked to show me off at these London discos. I have been planning my escape. Take me to the train to Paris. I have money, all the papers. I laughed. I'll do better than the train. Sean came staggering back, a pack slung over each shoulder. I fixed mine into one of the bags hung on either side of the bike. I'd balance it later. Ranjit, you are one crazy Sardar, Sean mumbled, as he shouldered his pack and threw his leg over the seat. I told Zarina, Sikhs, what we call Sardars, have been protecting women from the Muslims since the Mughals invaded the Punjab. Thank you.